Welcome back to another video. Today I am explaining Aizawa's quirk or erasure, right? Now Aizawa's quirk, of course, with his name is called Erasure, as his hero name is called Eraser. Erasure allows him to negate someone else's quirk just by looking at him, as we see repeatedly through the series. The mechanism of erasure renders the target quirkless by stopping the flow of their quirk factor. The condition being that Aizawa keeps his eyes open, so when he blinks once, it is immediately over. But he can use erasure on multiple targets at once by glancing at a target and immediately shifting his gaze to another. He can strip away multiple quirks. Now he also uses his specialized goggles as one of his tactical enhancements. These goggles protect his eyes from bright light and debris while also concealing his line of vision to maintain a strategic advantage. At least in the battlefield, we see that with multiple factors. He mostly uses it against the kids since we really don't see him fight real villains that often. Now, the method isn't flawless as it requires a great deal of focus and can strain his eyes physically, as we see always he's have to put in his eye drops or his eyes becoming increasingly red after a little bit. Now, Aizawa's quirk can still remain active when his targets are out of his line of sight, which provided he keeps his eyes open, of course. Now, unfortunately, the limitations of the drawbacks to Aizawa's quirk is that he has to keep his eyes open, because with a single blink, the target gains all their abilities back. Also, more known to his quirk, his quirk only affects those with active quirks. So if you have a mutated quirk, it cannot work. If you turn into a lizard or anything, you can't immediately turn it back into a human just because Aizawa looked at you. So any strength or abilities that come with a mutated quirk, you keep, because they are not regularly active quirks. You just became that way because of a quirk, which is sad. Now, of course, they strain Aizawa's eyes, resulting in severe dryness, redness, and exhaustion. This also calls for his specialized eye drops and protective goggles to counteract these. While we're also talking about his quirk, he also uses his highly skilled hand-to-hand combat, and of course a binding cloth made of carbon fibers, which allows him to trap multiple enemies or at least keep them at bay while keeping his eyes open. We see that mostly, of course, with the kids and most of the time some villains. He's not really. Of course, Aizawa was also known as an underground hero. He doesn't like the national media or national attention that heroes get, so he preferably just does things behind the scenes instead of getting that national recognition as other heroes get. So that's it, basically. He has a good quirk, one of the more overpowered quirks that can be used. That was used repeatedly throughout the series and to help keep the kids under calm control. But of course, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.